What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today I want to share with you guys a prison-related news story that was just posted in the After Prison Show fan page by an awesome supporter by the name of Robin. Robin posted this story, and this is something that I've been hearing about. This is something that I've been familiar with. I know that a lot of people in prison have been trying to do this. Maybe you have no idea about this. And it's a story that I feel like we should share nonetheless. What this has to do with is prisoners being eligible to receive stimulus checks. And I know that this will probably affect certain people because, when you think about that, there are a lot of people who have gotten these stimulus checks, this unemployment, this pandemic relief money. And then there's also a lot of people who haven't gotten that. I know people who have gotten it, and I know people who haven't gotten it. And the people who haven't got it are people who should have got it, people who deserve to get it. How can this person get it, but that person can't? Well, folks, this story goes even deeper because now prisoners are eligible to receive stimulus checks. No matter what your crime is. You could have hacked up 10 bodies. You could still be eligible for the stimulus money if I guess you qualify, or maybe you luck up. I think in certain cases, it just is about lucking up. Can you imagine? Oh, you didn't get that money, but yet a prisoner will. Please don't leave a dislike on this video, but if you do, I will understand. It is a situation that could trigger people. Like, how can a prisoner be eligible to get this? Do they deserve to get this money? Aren't taxpayers already paying for prisoners to be locked up, and now we're going to be giving them COVID checks as well? Dudes who ain't even making commissary, never even could smell a ramen soup. All of a sudden now they going to be full up. Definitely a lot to consider with this story that we're getting ready to address. So with that, let's go ahead and let's That was me stroking that check right there, that stimulus check for a prisoner. Head first up into this video. Before we go any further with this, I do want to take a moment and usually I would say address our sponsor, but I do want to take a moment and address my own personal thoughts on this situation. Do I feel like prisoners should be eligible to receive a stimulus check? That's a good question. That's a tough question to answer right there. In a lot of cases, no. I don't feel like they do. But then, on the flip side of the coin, there are prisoners who are getting locked up who are working jobs. Because I think that that's a big part of this, right? Like, you had to file taxes last year or maybe for the last 2 years. I can't remember what exactly the criteria was to be eligible to initially receive stimulus money. But I know that there are tons of prisoners who were working, prior to getting locked up, who did file taxes. I believe those guys definitely deserve the stimulus money. But the people who are just beating the system, and there's people out here in the free world who are beating the system as well. No Joe Kashi. I'm just saying, I know that there's people who are beating the system. I know that there's people who are getting the money who don't really deserve it as much as other people who may not be getting the money. But you know what? That's just the way that it is. That is the luck of the draw. That's what it is. I know that my taxpayer dollars now go towards, in some form or fashion, toward paying for people who are incarcerated. But guess what? I used to be one of those people who was getting paid for by other taxpayers. For a long time, I was of the getting taken care of by tax dollars. So in my personal position and situation, like, I can't feel but only a certain type of a way because I was once a prisoner myself for many, many years. Do I feel like prisoners deserve to get the stimulus money? Should they be eligible? In certain cases, yes, I do. But in others, no. I'm just going to say it like that. No. Maybe you disagree with me. And if you do, please comment down below and tell me why you do. This story is going to shed a lot more light on that. So let's go ahead and get into this. The title of this story says, inmates can now get COVID-19 relief money no matter their offense, judge rules. This is almost like one of those bait titles right here. A title that's just guaranteed to trigger people or somebody, right? No matter their offense. Are you kidding me? That's what the story says. As a matter of fact, that's what the judge ruled. This story comes to us from St. Louis, Missouri, where prisoners will soon get federal stimulus money no matter their offense. A federal judge recently ruled prisoners are eligible for those $1,200 stimulus checks, and now prisons are helping inmates access necessary forms to get the money. Ain't that something? When originally it was a big deal because once these stimulus checks first came out, there were prisoners who got these checks. There were checks that were being sent to the prison for prisoners. And this is where all of this comes from, where the IRS said, hey, if a prisoner received this money, you need to send that back. That was a clerical error. And at first, it was the prisons that were intercepting these checks. This was contraband. Now the prisons are making it accessible. They're giving the prisoners the necessary forms that they need. What a cluster all of this truly is. What a time to be alive. And really, I'm not like mad about the situation. I honestly could care less. It is what it is. You know what? Why wasn't I getting a stimulus check while I was locked up? That's really, if I'm bitter, that's why I'm bitter. Damn, I had to hustle my ass off. Risk tetanus and staph infections, tattooing, snitching prisoners, go hard or go home. Just in an effort to try to make me a few extra dollars to get me some zoom zooms and wham whams, and now you telling me prisoners can get a stimulus check? Prison got way too soft. Says any old timer who was in prison back in the early 90s, late 80s, or shit, anytime prior to the 90s. Prison was a lot different back then. The story also reminds me of, prisoners stealing other prisoners' social security numbers, or coming across those social security numbers one way or another to be able to file fraudulent tax returns and get, some kind of a tax return check in prison. See, back in the day, that was the hustle. Now the government done made it way too easy. You can get you a stimulus check while locked up. $1,200, you know how far that's gonna go in prison? That's almost like a year's supply. That is a year's supply of commissary. $1,200, that is $100 a month. You're gonna be doing pretty good with $100 a month in prison, especially if you ain't got nothing. So there was a law firm that challenged the IRS, which in May posted frequently asked questions on its website, question 15, that stated, does someone who is incarcerated qualify for the payment? And the IRS responded saying, no. A payment made to someone who is incarcerated should be returned to the IRS. But a federal judge just ruled this month that excluding incarcerated individuals from receiving an economic impact payment solely on the basis of their incarcerated status is arbitrary and capricious. I have no idea what either of those two words mean. If you guys know, please leave the definition down in the comments below. And here's something pretty interesting as well. The Missouri Department of Corrections said inmates were notified electronically through their JPay tablets, and the money will go straight onto their JPay accounts. I don't know if they were made aware of the fact that, hey, you're now eligible, or if they're talking about if they're approved or not. That would be a hell of an email to get, the best email you could possibly get. Even better than the email coming to you from your girl who's no longer your girl, who Jody number 10 got out there in the buck, the B-U-C, legs folded up like a pretzel. Even better than an email from her saying she's back. She realized the error of her ways, of her ways, and you're really the one. Who cares if you got 15 years? She gonna wait for you. That $1,200 stimulus check approval email is guaranteed to be a hell of a lot better than that. Girl, I don't need you no more. Go back out there to Jody number 10. Find Jody number 11 too while you're at it. The story goes on to say the whole point of the aid package was to help people who were affected by COVID-19. Well, when somebody ends up in prison, their life doesn't end. Tell that to the girl that ain't gonna wait for you. When you're gone, you're forgotten, but when you're back, you're missed. Justin Timberlake and T.I. said it best. Oh, I've been traveling this road too long. I tried to hit the high notes right there. That made me blush. It was so cringe. Dead and Gone. Throwback classic right there. Was my favorite song while locked up and came out right around the time I was first getting locked up back in 2008. They continue having family members on the outside. They continue having friends on the outside. They have children on the outside. Those people are paying the cost of incarceration thousands of dollars a year. Okay, good point. The level of conviction of an inmate has no bearing on whether they get the payments, even if they are serving a life sentence. That is interesting. And that also makes me kind of wonder, are we talking about prisoners who filed taxes in 2019, 2018? Or are we just saying, you know what, they are people too, and they deserve to have the stimulus checks because they got family members out there? Like, was there a change that was made to the criteria and the approval process? I don't honestly know. If there was, please comment down below if you know. Kind of sounds that way to me, though. It appears that child support is the only expense that will automatically be garnished. Now, that may not hit as different as it's about to as I continue to share with you what else they say, saying wrongful death claims and other money inmates may owe, such as restitution. Let's say you're locked up for stealing an iPad. Well, you owe that victim $1,200 or however much that iPad cost. Wrongful death money and other money owed by inmates may not be intercepted unless the victim takes their own court action. Well, how is the victim gonna know that that person who wronged them, got this money? Are they just gonna have to guess? Basically what the story is saying right there is the only money that's gonna be taken away is child support, and any other money owed, restitution, court fine, get it from the rough. You can get it from the rough. Not about to pay you that when I'm trying to get me some white girls, some snow bunnies up in here, and I'm not talking about Caucasian women. I'm talking about white frosting on honey buns. Isn't snow bunnies really like a coconut kind of a pastry type of deal? Folks, I wanted to share this story with you guys, and I'll be eager to hear what you guys think about this. Does this trigger you in any type of a way? Do you feel like this is the correct thing to do? Do you agree that prisoners should be eligible for this stimulus money, or do you feel another sort of way? Please comment down below and let me know. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!